Hey guys, welcome back to the Little Blue Journal. I'm back with my second story for the week. I hope you guys had a really good week. I hope everyone sort of learned something awesome this week. Today I'm going to be talking about a really powerful goddess from the Hindu mythology. Her name is Durga, and she is actually worshipped quite a lot around India as well. So it's really interesting to find out about her story and like why she's so praised, I guess, in the mythological sphere. And also I think I'm going to do a short series on, a short episode on why, how her mythology in the Hindu sphere actually came about and like where its origins are and like what's the significance of all these folk tales that come about. And then, for your own information, you can find out if you want to know if they're actually true or whether these people existed. But sometimes it could be just emphasizing, like these people could have just been normal people or they could have been supernatural beings. Take your pick. Normal people who were like extraordinarily awesome or supernatural beings who were just being supernatural beings. So let's get started. I'm going to go through a backstory of who Durga is, and then we're going to go into the meaty bits of the story. Awesome. So one of the most widely worshipped Hindu deities is Durga. She frequently appears in household shrines where she's worshipped as having the power to create life and encourage the growth of grains. It is said that Ma Durga may have been worshipped during the Harappan period. Tribal peoples in the non-Aryan areas have early myths in which Durga is associated with mountains, usually the Himalayas or the Vindhyas. By the 4th century BC, images of Durga slaying a buffalo became common throughout India. She had become a warrior goddess, a many-armed battle queen who combated the demons who threatened the stability of the cosmos. At a certain point in her history, Durga also became the thought of Shiva's wife. In this role, she's often called Parvati and is more domestic and more strained. As a warrior goddess, however, Durga is unmarried and does not lend her power or Shakti to any male. She is not seen as a submissive god, but one who can hold her own against any male on the battlefield. Like the god Vishnu, it is believed that she can create, maintain, and destroy the world. The best known account of Durga is of her victory over the destructive, wicked god Mahisa, or Mahishasura. Stories from ancient India describe struggles between gods and the demons, between good and evil. In these conflicts, which have been going on since the beginning of creation, the hope is that the long-run divine forces will triumph over the forces of evil. Here is the story of Durga's victory. The evil god Mahisa was the son of goddess who had given him many magic powers. Once she asked the Brahma, the creator, to give her the son of a gift of morality. Impossible, said Brahma. He who is born must die. Mahisa then said, grant me that a woman alone can kill me. This wish he got. Sure that now he would never be killed, Mahisa gathered up a great demon army and marched on Amarpur, the capital of heaven and home of the gods. Indra, the king of the heavens, tried to defeat the demon army. A terrible battle ensued, lasting nearly 1,000 years. Finally, the gods were defeated and had to flee. All was in chaos. Helpless and afraid, the gods turned to Brahma for his advice. Brahma admitted that it was he who had given Mahisa his power by letting him know that he could be slain only by a woman. What will we do? Cried the gods. In our tradition, women will not fight. Brahma then took them to Lord Shiva, who in turn took them to Lord Vishnu. After listening to the tales of the defeat of Indra and the gods at the lengths of the demon Mahisa, all three, Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva, grew red with anger. From this anger, they produced a divine energy which streamed from their mouths, creating a single mass of light. Into this light, a woman appeared, her body shining with brilliance over 1,000 suns. Thus was Durga born. At once, each one of the gods gave their weapons as a trident, a disc, a sword, an axe, a conch, a mace, a discus, a rope, and a bow, and some arrows. They gave her a terrible roar. Her tiger responded with one of his own. Armed with the strength of all the gods, the many-armed Durga went to her home in the Vindhya mountains. Mahisa, hearing of the radiant beauty of a mysterious woman who had arrived in the mountains, sent her a message. It is said that the Lord of the Lords he planned to claim for his bride. With a smile, Durga responded, "I can only marry the man who can defeat me in battle." "She is only a woman," thought Mahisa. "I'll accept her challenge." And he and his demon army set off to conquer the haughty Durga. When they met, Durga called out to him, "O wicked Mahisa, I'm no ordinary woman. I'm your death. Do you remember that you wished to die at the hands of a woman? Now get ready to die." That said, Durga lifted her weapons and mounted her tiger. Mahisa and his army advanced. Durga's weapons were swirled. The mountains were torn in two. The clouds were scattered in the sky. Her tiger pounced upon the demon army, killing many by the thousands. Mahisa responded. Able to change shapes, he at once gave up his real form to become a maddened black buffalo. Bellowing and stamping on the ground, he ran at Durga. The battle was fierce. The earth shook with their fury. Mahisa turned himself into many forms during the battle, becoming sometimes a lion, sometimes an elephant. He uprooted rocks and hills and hurled them at Durga. She shattered them with her sword, sending them into the wind again. Mahisa was a buffalo, snorting a mighty wind from his broad nostrils and killing her army by the swirling of his powerful tail. Durga used her rope, throwing it around his neck. The buffalo god tried to free himself, but the more he struggled, the tighter she made the rope. Durga played with the demon. To her, fighting Mahisa was nothing more than a sport. At last, she dismounted and sprang on his back. With her foot on his neck, she thrust her trident into his chest. With his final blow, he fell dead. At once, his armies fell senseless, defeated. Seeing her victory, the male gods hailed Durga. "We salute you, O great goddess. But for you, even we, who are immortals, could do nothing. But for your coming, heaven itself would fall down." By destroying evil, Durga had protected the divine law or dharma. It was understood that those who worshipped her would receive her help in times of distress. Wealth and power would be granted them as well. So, guys, that was like a short story on Durga's victory over Mahisa, and that's why she's so praised. And there's this famous picture of her, in that last scene when her foot's on his neck, on his back, and she's like, got all the weapons and stuff. That's a very, very famous picture of her, and people have that in their homes. Sometimes they even make them into shrines or sculptures. So she's actually a really, really great goddess, and having someone as badass as her, like, you could totally make a movie on her as well. She's an awesome role model, especially for people who like strong, independent women. I'm sure people can relate to that as well. Alright guys, so now we're actually going to break down some of the interesting parts of the story, because there's a lot of stuff that the story didn't cover in terms of like the meaning of her name and all the weaponry and stuff. So Goddess Durga is actually the mother of the universe and believed to be the power behind the work of creation, preservation, and destruction of the world. Since time immemorial, she has been worshipped as the supreme power of the supreme being, and has been mentioned in many scriptures: Yajurveda, Vasanyani Samhita, and Taittiriya Brahman. So she's in a lot of scriptures, and she's actually a very praised goddess. So as they say, she's the mother of the universe here. The meaning of the word Durga in Sanskrit, it's an ancient Indian script, means a fort or a palace which is difficult to overrun. So her actual name means a place or a fort, like a strong fort. Another meaning of Durga is Durgatinishini, which literally translates into the one who eliminates sufferings. Thus, Hindus believe that Goddess Durga protects her devotees from the evils of the world, and at the time removes their miseries. So she's seen as someone who's like a savior for people who've been distraught or distressed by, someone who's evil or someone who's overly aggressive. So she's someone that puts an end to evil, basically. The many forms of Durga, so in a lot of Hindu gods and goddesses, like different gods have different forms as well, like avatars. We call them avatars. So there are many incarnations of Durga: Kali, Bhagavati, Bhavani, Ambika, Lalita, Gauri, Kundalini, Java, Rajeshwari, etc. Durga incarnated as a united power of all divine beings who offered her the required physical attributes and weapons to kill the demon Mahishasur. Her 9 appellations are Skokumandata, Kusumanda, Shaliputri, Kalratri, Brahmacharini, Mahagauri, Katyayani, Chandraghanta, and Siddhatri. So these are all her 9 appellations, I guess, 9 different forms that she can come as. So Durga is actually depicted as having 8 or 10 hands. These represent 8 quadrants or 10 directions in Hinduism. This suggests that she protects the devotees from all directions. She's also seen as someone that has 3 eyes. So like Shiva, Mother Durga is also referred to as Triambiki, meaning the third-eyed goddess. The left eye represents desire, the moon. The right eye represents action, the sun. And the central eye, knowledge and fire. So why does she have a lion as her avatar? So a lot of Hindu gods have lions. They have animals as their avatars. So it's like a counterpart. It's like a partner. So the lion represents power, will, and determination. Mother Durga riding the lion symbolizes her mastery over all these qualities. This suggests to the devotee that one has to possess all these qualities to get over the demon of her ego, her mastery over all these qualities. This suggests to the devotee that one has to possess all these qualities to get over the demon of ego. So basically, each animal that comes with the god or goddess represents attributes that they possess. So it's like a complementing partner that they have in an animal form, basically. So she has many weapons. Like we mentioned, Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu gave her a lot of their weapons and arrows and stuff. So the conch shell in Durga's hand symbolizes the pranava, or the mystic word Om, which indicates her holding on to God in the form of sound. So the conch shell, it's actually an ancient shell which still exists, that when you blow into it, it has the sound, it's going boo. Like I'll play it for you guys, I'll show you a picture. It's actually a really soothing sound, but it actually represents the word Om, which is, the chant of the universe. She has that. The bow and arrow represents energy. By holding both the bow and arrows in one hand, Mother Durga is indicating her control over both aspects of energy, potential, and kinetic. So it's energy in terms of like vibe, like energy vibration, or even physical energy. So she has both. The thunderbolt signifies firmness. The devotee of Durga must be firm like a thunderbolt in one's convictions. Like the thunderbolt that can break anything against which it strikes. Without being affected itself, the devotee needs to attack a challenge without losing his confidence. So obviously that's, again, to signify strength and firmness for herself. The lotus in Durga's hand is not fully bloomed. It symbolizes certainty of success, but not finality. The lotus in Sanskrit is called Pankaja, which means born of mud. Thus, lotus stands for the continuous evolution of the spiritual quality of devotees amidst the worldly mud of lust and greed. So, she stands for a lot of strength in terms of physical strength, but also spiritual strength. Because, like a lot of the things, a lot of people like gurus and life teachers would tell you, like, it's not just enough to be physically strong, but you need to be emotionally and spiritually equipped as well to fight stuff like evil, greed, lust. Like, you need to be someone of like a strong character. You can't just look strong, if you know what I mean. The Sudarshan chakra, or beautiful discus which spins around the index finger of the goddess while not touching it, it signifies that the entire world is subservient to the will of Durga and is at her command. She uses this unfailing weapon to destroy evil and produce an environment conducive to the growth of righteousness. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory there. The sword that Durga holds in one of her hands symbolizes knowledge, which that has the sharpness of a sword. Knowledge which is free from all doubts is symbolized by the shine of the sword. So this knowledge could actually mean, again, both intellectual and spiritual knowledge, because they say like the truth sometimes hurts, like raw truth is sometimes like, you know, it's quite harsh and raw. So I think that's what they're saying, like true knowledge in this truest form is represented by a sword. Durga's trident or trishul is a symbol of three qualities: sattva, inactivity; rajas, activity; and tamas, non-activity. And she removes all three types of miseries: physical, mental, and spiritual. So again, the trident symbolizing all those qualities, and it's also symbolizing all the three types of miseries that people go through as well. So Devi Durga stands on a lion in a fearless pose of Abhay Mudra, signifying assurance of freedom from fear. The Universal Mother seems to be saying to all her devotees, "Surrender all actions and duties onto me and I shall release thee from all fears." So basically she's seen as someone who's kind of a savior to people. Like people actually look up to her as more of a savior in terms of, you know, when they're going through a hard time, hardships, struggles, you know, evil around them and stuff. You know, that's how she's represented. But she's also could be represented as someone who stands up for doing the right thing. So if someone's being, you know, completely out of line and they're doing something that isn't required, she sort of steps in and says, this is not right, and I have to fight this. Because sometimes just talking to someone about it isn't going to help. Like if she just went and spoke to him, he's not going to listen to her. Like she knew that she had to get into battle with him. She knew that she had to kill him because that was the only way to get rid of his energy and, you know, the way that he was. Like there was no other way of getting around it. So sometimes, you know, she knows that she has to be a bit aggressive and harsh, and that's the whole, like she actually looks a little bit scary as well. Like people portray her as this really fierce and scary, like, you know, like a modern day Beyonce would be someone like that, right? Like really like strong and will-powered and stuff. So there you go, guys. That was the story of Durga, and that's a bit of a breakdown on all the stuff that she has, like her weapons and stuff. And like I said, guys, I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to go research whether you think all of this actually happened, did people like this exist. It's up to you. Personally, I believe that they did exist. They were not human beings, though. I feel like they were supernatural. So that's why, but like they did come in human form, if you know what I mean, like how Jesus came in human form. I feel like a lot of these people, a lot of these gods and goddesses were in human form so that we could relate to them, but they embodied aspects of us that we could aspire to, like people that we could really look up to and embody in ourselves. So that's why they came in human form, but I don't think they were human beings. I think they were supernatural. So it's really interesting, guys. I'm going to do a segment on Hindu mythology as a whole, and if I find any other cool stories like this, I will definitely share it with you. But please do share this story. If you think about someone, please do comment and like and subscribe to my channels, blah blah blah. I'm going to be looking at other cultural stories as well. I'm just starting with this because this is something that I'm really familiar with because I grew up on these stories. But I will be going and visiting each of the lands of the earth and bringing you guys cool stories from all those parts of the world. So stay tuned, have a lovely week, and maybe take an aspect of Durga with you, maybe embody one of her aspects with you, and see how that goes.